Hi everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Welcome to take 2 of the Tactical Insight Show. If some of you did join us for the live earlier today, we had some technical issues. We did want to bring a live show. We did want to go through some comments. We did go through some. But listen, it's just one of those days. I think it's one of those, we've run out of steam, haven't we? End of season. End of season. The legs have gone and all that. But no, look, we'll be here all summer doing content all the time anyway, me and you, Graham. It's been a full season. It's been a full 38-game Premier League season of watching Arsenal. An improved Arsenal. But is it improved enough? Have we seen enough over these 38 games to say we like what we're seeing, we want to go on? That's not the question we're going to answer today, but it's a question that we've been answering literally chapter by chapter through the season. And this Everton game is the final instalment in that particular book. Listen, a good win. How are you there, Graham?
I'm very well, mate. Yeah. First of all, James, before we go into the Everton game today, it's our 75th Tactical Insight Show.
You did mention this, yeah.
75 shows I've done now. Done 36 with Don Robbie, 33 with yourself, and you've done 6 on your own. 75 shows. I never dreamed it would get to 75 when I started. And I stayed behind at the stadium yesterday to do a fan cam, and we were around the Tony Adams statue, and I was overwhelmed and humbled by the amount of people who had come up to me and said how much they loved the Tactical Insight Show, wanted a selfie, could you believe, and all that. It was really overwhelming and humbling. Everyone enjoys the show, which means a lot to me. Some guy called James came over from America. I spoke to Jason Clark, who I love talking to Jason. He's a very knowledgeable guy. He's on AFTV now doing fan cams. And it was a really end-of-season feel to it, a real end-of-season feel yesterday around the stadium, a community day. We got the result. But before we go into the game today, where the hell are the celebration police? Where the hell are the celebration police, James? Because Tottenham Hotspur, congratulations to them, they got 4th spot. But they put a picture out yesterday on Twitter celebrating 4th in the league. Where are Chris Sutton, Ashley Young, and all those celebration police who were at Arsenal for celebrating a game, winning a game? But they've all gone quiet, haven't they? Because Tottenham celebrated getting 4th place. And do you know what? Congratulations to Spurs, and obviously to Heung-min Song for sharing the golden boot, which is for Tottenham fans now means that when you do your stadium tour at the end of the season, you won't have any trophies to look at, but you will be able to see his golden boot. So,
just like on the live, and every other week that we've done this show, even the day after we have, I'm going to say sealed, but it's been confirmed that we finished 5th behind Spurs, there's still always a little bit of Spurs slander. So at least we're consistent.
We've got, the gap between us is still 11 league titles, James. 13 league titles to 2.
Very, very
true. The thing
true.
is that when we used to finish above them for 19 straight seasons, we were winning trophies. They finished above us for the last 6, but they won nothing. Even in our darkest moments, we've still managed to win 4 FA Cups.
Yeah, very good point, very good point. But we're not here to talk Spurs. They've done their job, well done to them. We're here to focus on Arsenal and a 5-1 win in a performance that came in a game where, look, I'll be honest, Everton did look on the beach. I saw it in their celebration for their goal. They really weren't asked about it. I mean, they scored and went kind of, oh, that's a shame. Now it looks like we have to fight and get back in it. Honestly, they just did not look at it at all. I thought the Everton fans were fantastic. Listen, they were partying because in a season where they should never have been in a relegation battle, they were just delighted that they did get out of it by the final day. They weren't involved in that Burnley-Leeds scuffle at the end. And they were clearly following the Liverpool results and enjoying that. So Everton fans, I thought, were fantastic. Much better than their team on the pitch, who weren't very good. They made a lot of changes. And it's reflected in the match stats that Arsenal absolutely battered them. From 26 shots to their 6, 9 on target to their 2, nearly 74% possession in a game. Listen, I know Everton were on the beach, right? But Arsenal still had to do their job in case of a miracle at Carrow Road. It didn't happen, but Arsenal did their job, and a league high for Arsenal, I think, XG of 4.24 in the game.
I think Everton had their cup final on Thursday night by coming back to beat Crystal Palace 3-2 and staying up. So Lampard always said he was going to make changes. He lifted out Richarlison, their best player. Pickford didn't play. He made 5 or 6 changes, and he played this sort of system which is almost like a back 5, which he's been playing over the last few weeks. 3 centre-halves, Holgate, Keane and Branthwaite. Iwobi played at the right-sided wing-back. Kenny played on the left-sided wing-back, and he had Doucouré and Davis came into midfield with Gray and Dele Alli in the wide areas and Calvert-Lewin up front. So it was a much changed team. And unlike the Newcastle game, James, where we couldn't get a grip in the game at all, we actually dominated this game back on home territory right from the off. And I looked at the stats after about 5 minutes. I was in the stadium yesterday, and because it was clear that Arsenal were dominating, we had something like 95% possession. Everton hadn't completed a pass.
Yeah.
The end of the first half ended 2-1, and we still had something like 85% possession and something like 2.14 XG to their 0.07. So we were just totally dominant. Everton sat back, allowed us to have the ball, and we just totally dominated the game and ultimately run out 5-1 winners. But it was just a total domination right the way through. Everton really just sat back and allowed us to have possession. And in the end, it was a very comfortable win.
Yeah, it really was. Let's have a look at some more detailed stats around our shots in the game. As we mentioned, 26 shots to their 6. 17 of those were in the box for Arsenal, 9 outside the box, and 9 of them were blocked. Arsenal did sort of work their way in and around the Everton penalty area really, really well. Obviously, 5 goals from 17 shots inside the box. I mean, it always felt like it was going the way of a battering. And even when Everton got one back, I sort of chuckled. I sort of thought, they didn't deserve that. And Arsenal came out second half, got the job done. So just a quick look at where that left the final league table. Yeah, the heartbreaking truth that Spurs nicked 4th. And really, they did that in the weeks before. I think you mentioned 26 points out of 33.
Yeah, they had an outstanding end to the season. Their last 11 games, they took 33 points. I think they only dropped points against... they lost at home to Brighton, drew at Brentford and drew at Liverpool. They're the only 3 games of the last 11. On March the 15th, we had a 6-point gap over them and a game in hand. But obviously, the decision to go with a very thin squad, not bring anyone in the January transfer window, key injuries coming along, meant that we were really stumbling towards the line. The last 12 games, I think we won 6, lost 6.
Yeah.
So that wasn't good enough, and ultimately we weren't good enough to get that Champions League spot. And overall, as much as I banter them today, I think Tottenham deserved the 4th spot.
Yeah, I agree with you. Arsenal 5th place, 22 wins, 1 more win than Chelsea, but crucially, we drew 3 games where they drew 11 and only lost 6. We lost 13 games and had a goal difference of 13, which is way off. You know, Tottenham had a goal difference of 29, Chelsea 43. We need to get back in and amongst the goals, and we've added wins. We've converted some of last season's draws to wins, and that is good. That is good. But we're losing far too many games, and it's what's costing us 4th place.
9 losses away from home. Just 2 key points here is that we won more games than Chelsea, but we lost more than Crystal Palace, who are in 12th.
Yeah,
and that tells you everything. I think the problem is in games there was some of those games we lost. We should have maybe converted into draws, not lost. And that, I think, in the game we didn't manage the big moments in games. We struggled with pressure in games. I think when I think back to early in the season, we didn't play well under lights at Brentford on the opening night. We lost that game. We struggled on Monday Night Football against the likes of Everton, Palace and Newcastle, against teams who high intensity press and stop us getting...
Spurs was a Thursday night, United was an evening
and I think
game.
That was one of the downsides of the team this year. As much as it was a good season, we didn't handle pressure very well during the season. Yeah,
that's a really, really good point. Our total of 69 points, we did mention this on the first draft live we did. That 69 points would have got you 4th place comfortably the last couple of years.
Chelsea got in last year with 67 points, James.
Yeah.
And I think
the year before, United finished 3rd on
exactly.
66.
So we were unlucky. 69. But I remember thinking, we did a Tactical Insight show after the Villa game into the international break, and we were on 54 points, and I said we probably needed 18.
Yeah.
Said we needed sort of 6 wins, and that's ultimately what we needed, and we come up short.
Yeah, listen, I will always make this point. You're up against what you're up against. The league doesn't lie. Arsenal got 5th because they deserved 5th place. By the way, 11 points clear of United, and we're not going to go into them. But I mean, they've had an absolute shocker. So Arsenal, they improved on their points tally by 8 last season. They definitely improved on the wins tally. But losing that amount of games is just simply unacceptable. And it's happened a few times now where Arsenal under Wenger, 75 points, lost out to Klopp by a point, I think. 75 would normally walk you. 75, by the way, gets you third this season. Unai Emery, his 70 points would normally get you Champions League football. Well, not normally, but the 2 seasons following would have got you Champions League football. And then again, Arsenal's tally. Listen, we're not sitting here saying, oh, Arsenal have been really unlucky, and it's just, it's not, that's the course. You know, you've got to play the course. But it's just interesting context, and I always find those things just interesting. In the same way, I read a stat earlier before we recorded this. Jurgen Klopp, you know, has totaled, I think, 99 points, 97 and 92. He's got 1 league title. It's unbelievable. But the task is to beat City this year. So, yeah, interesting context. Back to the game. Arsenal scored a lot of goals from set pieces. We think the Nketiah one, Martinez's a penalty, don't think that counts as a set piece. But the Nketiah one, the Cedric one, the Gabriel one comes from a set piece. And Nicolas Jova has done a really phenomenal job, hasn't he?
He has indeed. I think the thing is, he's improved us at both ends of the pitch, James. We don't concede too many now from set plays, and we score more from set plays. I think we're third in the league for goals we've scored from set plays this year. 3 goals yesterday in this game from corner situations. Obviously, we exposed Everton's frailties at set pieces. They don't defend set pieces very well. In fact, they are, with the 3 they conceded yesterday, the worst in the league for conceding from set plays. I think it's now at 22. I think Leicester were the previous worst with 20. And we scored goals yesterday from 3 different types of corners. We'd already taken the lead early on in the 23rd minute from a penalty. Started the game, pushing them back. And Martinelli's shot hit Iwobi's hand, and we were targeting that side. The gap between Iwobi and Holgate on their right-hand side, our left-hand side, where we had a lot of joy early on with Martinelli, very businesslike, very industrious.
Well, let's show it actually as you're talking it through. So these are the 11s here. We've got them on the tactical pad. Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, they were in that 3-4-3 shape, but it often meant Iwobi and Kenny dropping really deep. It
was a 5-4-1, wasn't it?
Yeah, making more of a 5-4-1.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal obviously shaped up. We'll show you here Arsenal's build-up shape.
Yeah. I think what we decided to do yesterday was, because like they were literally, they almost like gave us the 2/3 of the pitch right from the off. We just totally dominated possession.
Yeah.
As I said by those numbers at the start of the show, they just sat back in a 5-4. So literally we had like 2 centre-backs, 2 in midfield, and we tried to get almost like 6 in attacking lanes up high most of the time.
Yeah.
Often going down the right side and then cleverly flicking it over to the left and trying to get into that area between Iwobi and Holgate. And it was actually Martinelli's shot that hit Iwobi's hand that led to the penalty. I thought Saka would step up and take it, James, but Martinelli stepped up and put it away. And then he ran to the touch, and I think a couple of players he celebrated that with left yesterday. I think the kit man, Akers, he was leaving, yes. So it was.
And I think one of the medical staff.
One of the medical staff, so that was what that celebration was about. And then we got a quick second goal from the first of those corners, the set plays we talked about. So we undid Everton up high with our movement and the fact that we had our 6 attacking lanes, looking to target the gap on the right-hand side, as I said, but it was ultimately the set plays that did for Everton. The first one, a Saka delivery at the near post, flicked on by Martinelli. Martinelli, who had scored the penalty, now gets an assist, and Nketiah puts it away for his 5th goal of the season. We're 2 up and in control in the game.
Yeah.
But as that first half came to an end, Everton, who had not been in the game at all, got back into it out of nowhere. When we switched off, when they had a movement down the right side, I think Iwobi played in Calvert-Lewin, who squared it across the box, and their substitute, Donny van der Beek.
Rob Holding, wasn't it?
Yeah, he switched off at that, got in behind him to tuck it away. And once again, our clean sheet's gone. It's almost like 10 games now without a clean sheet for Arsenal in the Premier League, the longest run of any team in the division. Yeah. So it seems odd going in only 2-1 at half-time, because we'd totally dominated the first half, James. Yeah. But we came out second half. Arteta must have said something at half-time, but normal service was quickly resumed with the second set play after Saka went close on a run, forced a corner. Saka played it to Cedric, who arrived late on the left-hand side of their penalty box, our right-hand attacking side, and he drilled a shot into the roof of the net to put us back 3-1 up. And then Gabriel, from another situation from a corner where they didn't clear it, Cedric had a shot, fell into his path, and he drilled in number 4. That was the third goal he scored from a set-piece sort of situation. And Gabriel now, James, has now scored 5 goals this season, the best return of any defender in the Premier League. And ironically, tying with Eddie Nketiah, who also has 5, as our best returner by 3 forwards.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, Gabriel's absolutely doing his job. And when you've got a player who, a centre-back who contributes goals, we've seen the best do it, Van Dijk, how many times he's stepped up in big moments for Liverpool. You want your centre-backs to be having that impact from set pieces, and he absolutely has, Gabriel. Huge credit to him. Here's our Arsenal ranking in terms of set plays in the Premier League. Big thanks to theanalyst.com. Go check it out. That's where I got these numbers from. In terms of set play goals, Arsenal scored 16, the 3rd best in the league. Our set play goals XG is 14.4, the 5th best in the league. Arsenal have conceded 8 set play goals, the 5th best in the league, and a 9.1 XG from set plays in terms of goals conceded ranks us 4th in the league with a +8 set play goal difference. So Nicolas Jover's absolutely done his job, and this has been an area that I thought Arsenal were actually improving in under Andreas Georgeson a bit last year. Nicolas Jover comes in from City, and it was an Achilles heel for so long. Weak Arsenal, set pieces, they couldn't do, they weren't up to it. They just want to play with the ball on the floor. But Arsenal have really improved, since Arteta walked in.
He has, and that's an area I think is very important in football now, James. We've talked about this before, the fact that games are now so well coached. That basically set pieces play, I think, a very big part in football. A game that's often decided on fine margins, and if you are better at scoring set plays and defending set plays, it gives you an advantage. Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Martin Odegaard. My man of the match, was he your man of the match? Definitely, mate. Yeah, he was fantastic. Got his numbers here, 72 passes in the game, second most of any player on the pitch, we're including Everton players here as well. Created 5 chances, more than any other player. Completed 35 attacking third passes, more than any other player. He had 3 shots in the game, the 3rd highest of any player, and 6 ball recoveries, putting him top 4. At least someone's made top 4. 4th most ball recoveries in the game. Martin Odegaard, look, I know Everton were at the beach, and he had a lot of space to play and enjoy himself and do what he wants to do and do what he does best. Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this was, one of those really high pressure state games where we needed, Odegaard to step up, and he has done on some occasions this year. This was very much Everton sitting back, him having the space that he wants to do, but he thrived with that. He did. I think whenever we play well offensively, Odegaard is obviously the main person who's driving us forward to do that. I think I've noticed straight away yesterday he was at it right from the off. I think that when we got the ball to him, he was very clever with his movement, and he was combining well with Bukayo Saka down the right-hand side. I think he was also switching the play very intelligently over to the left-hand side when Nuno pushed up high and Martinelli came inside. There was nice little triangles going on both sides of the pitch. And I think he was instrumental in everything offensively we did yesterday. I think over the last few weeks he's struggled without Thomas Partey. I think that Partey-Odegaard partnership is very key in the way Arsenal like to play. But yesterday against an Everton team who just sat off and allowed him plenty of space, when he's allowed that sort of space, he's a tremendously talented footballer anyway, but then he's going to kill you. And I just think his numbers yesterday reflected a top quality man of the match performance. Yeah, absolutely. He's been instrumental in creating chances this season. Here we've got Arsenal's creators, the most creative player for the last 5 seasons, ranked here. Ozil's 2017-18 season with 84 chances created is the most of any player in the last 5 years, but Odegaard's tally of 72 this season is the 2nd best, but you can really see the drop-off in the 2 seasons before with Pepe and Saka. Interestingly though, Bukayo Saka, if you wanted to come in on that? No, I just want to say the one thing I think he has to add to his game is goals. He did go through a period just before Christmas where he was scoring, but he has dropped off a little bit after Christmas, not only in goals but in assists. He is still creating a number of chances. I think that had we had what I would call a quality forward, a goal-scoring centre forward, nearly said centre half there, thinking of Gabriel. But if we had a quality goal scoring centre forward, those numbers would be even more impressive in terms of his goal contributions. You know, but I do think he needs to add goals to his game. And I know you did a brilliant breakdown after the Southampton game. You were looking at the way Man City get their number 8s up high, and I think that's something that, you know, I want to see from him next season. Getting into those areas of pitch like what De Bruyne does, and then sort of like even scoring a few more goals.
Yeah, I completely agree. In terms of creators in the Premier League this season, looking at the 21-22 Premier League season, Bruno Fernandes with more chance of creating than any other player. Now that really surprises me because he has had a shocking season. But otherwise in very good company. And listen, Bruno Fernandes is a talented player, don't get me wrong. But Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, Bernardo Silva, sandwiched between Odegaard and Saka there in the list. You know, top 6, 2 players in there, shows that the creativity's gone up.
This shows that we're more creative than we have been in the past under Arteta, more free-flowing. I think he's definitely, one of the good things he's brought to the team this year is the style of play, the way we build up. And I think it's reflected in the fact that he's given players license now to be more creative, more expressive in the final third. Yeah,
absolutely. We need those final forwards, and I think you mentioned it there. And actually, I want to talk about Odegaard's goal now. I do still think there's a need for central midfielders at Arsenal that are going to contribute goals. Here, we've recreated Odegaard's goal against Everton. I'm going to tell you guys now, it's really not my best recreation at all. But Pepe gives the ball to Odegaard. And Price is coming across, the youngster who came on for Everton. Odegaard takes a touch around him, opens his body up, and just rolls it past Begovic in the back of the net. So really, I've got, it's the one that got me off my feet, where I said, you know what, whatever the game, whatever the situation, that's a really, really brilliant goal. But what I really wanted to talk about, if we just take it back a second to about here, where Odegaard gets the ball from Pepe, is Arsenal becoming more effective. I'll box it in yellow here. In these boxes here, and you talked about it, Gundogan running to the back post is something that I've been mentioning a lot, is having midfielders that are able to be effective in those areas. You mentioned zone 14, you know, the
just outside the box.
Just outside the box. Rodri scoring a lovely goal for City from that very area. I'm looking here at where Arsenal can be more effective when they get into those inside channels in the penalty area, not just in terms of creating, but making runs to the back post, getting shots off goal, especially because our wingers play so wide. So I do really look to Odegaard and hopefully a new central midfielder to help them.
I think that we got better this season, James, in getting more bodies in the box. But the next part of the evolution, I think, is actually getting third man running midfielders, players who can run into the box, like what Gundogan did yesterday for Man City. A midfielder who can do that. I think that's the next part of the process. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's fly through these final bits and bobs. Season talking points, Arsenal's win percentage, or Arteta's win percentage in the 3 seasons that he's coached in. I say that very specifically because obviously Emery was part of half the season as well when he first arrived. But his win percentage has gone up to 58%. It was 45 and 48%. So a 10% rise on his best, as we mentioned, the 22 wins.
Coming from a very low bar, I think, though, some people would say.
I think that's the big point here. It's that it got so bad. We're not saying the 58 is anything to be running off celebrating about. But it's interesting context. We're here to bring you the numbers and the stats. You decide what you want, you know, what you think about it. Arsenal did, at the end of it all, average the youngest squad in the league, 25.2 years of age. Brentford a whole year older at 26.2. And then Southampton, Villa and Norwich as well, all in the 26, all in around 26 years of age. And we're in company there that are around the bottom half of the table, which shows you that experience. Well, I think it shows that experience goes a long way. I mean, look at, I know I don't like praising those lot down the road, but the experienced players who've been there and done it stepped up for them, didn't they?
Absolutely. But if you look at all the teams above us, James, they've all got more experienced teams than us, and more experienced managers than us, and elite managers. So ultimately, at the end of the day, that is why they are at the moment the 4 best teams in the league. This is the challenge for Arsenal next season to actually get better. to handle pressure in games well. I think that one thing that Arteta's got to do, I think, is sprinkle a bit of experience around this squad, James.
Absolutely.
To go with to make these young players even better.
I completely agree. We're going to go into the roundup stats, guys. Sorry it's been a quicker and shorter show than normal. Obviously, we were meant to be live. But we managed to bring you something. That's the thing. We managed to cover this game. We are going to be doing more content there around a transfer special, players we want and need. We'll be doing a show around looking at the whole season and breaking down everything from the young age of the squad to where Arteta got things right to where it unfortunately collapsed. So we'll be covering all that. Don't you worry, guys. Let me just round up with these stats. Arsenal, just the second side to score 3 goals in a single Premier League game this season. After Liverpool versus Arsenal, just the second side to score 3 goals in a single Premier League game this season after Liverpool versus Palace.
Yeah, Liverpool did it against Palace, I think.
Did what? So I've got scored 3 goals.
I must say, I thought, is that a set plays?
Oh, from set plays. Yeah, I didn't say that. I was going to say. No one scored.
I'll send you that one
3.
later night, didn't I?
No worries. Arsenal ended the season with 16 goals from set-piece situations. Arsenal conceded for the 10th game running yesterday. You mentioned that. Not a clean sheet since Villa. Gabriel scored his 5th Premier League goal in yesterday's game, the best return of any defender in the league. Arsenal now scored 117 goals versus Everton in the Premier League, the single most of any team against a single opponent in the history of the competition. Wow, that's an interesting one. Arsenal now unbeaten in their final league match in each of the last 17 seasons, winning 15, drawing 2. The Gunners have now won their last 11 in a row. Well, what do they call us? No pressure FC and all that.
We always round off the season well, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
It felt
we
like
start them well.
Yeah. But ultimately, it felt like a real end of season sort of spirit yesterday around the stadium, community spirit. Yeah. I think we knew that Norwich weren't going to beat Spurs.
Yeah.
We just went out, enjoyed the day. I think the stadium looked beautiful yesterday. We played some great football against a team who clearly were quite happy to allow us to play football.
Absolutely.
And I think that is the next part of this team, James. Next season, we've got to get better in the games when we're under pressure and turn those losses into draws and handle pressure better.
Agreed. Graham, I just wanted to say a big thank you for the whole season. We've really enjoyed it. 38 Premier League games later. Arsenal finished 5th. It's not the finish we wanted. But there's been signs of encouragement. There's been reasons to still think, is this right? We have our doubts. We haven't gone in this show. This has all been about Everton, but there is the whole post-mortem, as I've been calling it, throughout the week on AFTV, looking at where things went right, ultimately where it went wrong, analysing the whole season. We're going to be doing it on Tactical Insight as well. We're going to find time to make sure we break down the whole season. We might even have to leave it for a week or so just to really digest it all, see where we are. And of course, there will be a transfer special and all sorts of transfer-related content coming out on AFTV as well. So big thank you for all your support throughout the season, whether it be in the comment section, seeing us at games, whatever it might be. We really appreciate all of it. You guys have been amazing. Thank you for the show. And we're going to be coming back with some more really exciting stuff next season. Honestly, roll it on. I'm ready. I'm ready for next year. Let's bring in some players and let's go again. Big thanks. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.